Hello everybody and welcome back to game week 4 of the 23-24 PTC Therapeutics Premiership, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, for the penultimate game of the day on Court A, which will be contested between West Bromwich Albion Throstles and Manchester United PFC. Let's go through the squads very quickly, then the table, and then I will bring you the action live here from the Lee Westwood Sports Centre, coached by Paul Hunt and Matt Bodine. West Bromwich Albion Throstles have a squad of number 7, Amy Wharton, number 9, Lucas Christa, number 10, Jack Ebanks, number 18, Jonathan Davis, number 20, Ollie Rock, number 29, Barris Innell, and number 40, John Dixon. Manchester United, coached by Mark Hudson and Pete Taylor, have number 9, Kieran Burns, number 10, Lewis Marshall, number 11, Josh Slack, number 17, Jake Hudson, number 19, Liam Fitzpatrick, and number 25, Sam Taylor. To bring up the league table, you can see how these two have fared across the season so far. West Bromwich Albion Throstles, of their 14 games, have won 6, drawn 3, lost 5, positive goal difference of +1, 21 points accrued. So a win here, or even a single point, would see them leapfrog Villa Rockets in the standings. 3 points would see them sit just 1 point behind Leeds Chariot, so could be a really significant game for their competitors. Manchester United played 15, won 2, drawn 2, lost 11. They have 8 points. A win here would see them leapfrog Nottinghamshire in the standings. For context, whoever finishes in 11th and 12th will be automatically relegated to the Championship. Whoever finishes in 10th, so currently Manchester United, will be put in a one-off playoff game against whoever finishes 3rd in the Championship, with one Premiership spot up for grabs. West Bromwich Albion Throstles started game week 4 with a frustrating 0-0 draw against Villa Rockets. It certainly felt like they were frustrated with that result. They feel they could have secured more from their opening game. Manchester United were fairly comprehensively beat against West Bromwich Albion. Live on Court B, set to kick off at the same time as this one. League leaders Aspire take on Hull and East Yorkshire. Top versus bottom clash, as Aspire look to increase their advantage at the top of the 23-24 PTC Therapeutics Premiership standings. So the whistle is blown. Oh, that was the one on Court B. We'll get the thumbs up from either keepers. We'll get action underway. Lucas Christa with the kickoff immediately to Amy Wharton on the left. West Bromwich Albion Throstles have Barris Innell in goal, adorning the bright green goalkeeper jersey. Just in front, wearing blue and white, his teammates, that of Lucas Christa, Amy Wharton and Jonathan Davis. Manchester United, their goalkeeper, Jake Hudson in black, Josh Slack in the centre, Liam Fitzpatrick and Kieran Burns on either wing, and they are of course in the famous red of the Red Devils. Josh Slack with the kick in. Off of Kieran Burns' chair, returns the pass to his captain. Immediately engaged by Jonathan Davis. Having an absolutely brilliant season for Throstles. No doubt he'll be wanting to add to his tally. You just look at the Throstles' top goal scorers across the 3 weekends thus far. Jonathan Davis leads the way with 6 goals. Lucas Christa on 4. Ollie Rock on 3. Ollie Rock currently on the bench alongside Jack Ebanks and John Dixon. Certainly from my perspective, for the first time, feels like Throttles not only have quality on the court, they have just as good a quality of substitutes at their disposal. Manchester United have Sam Taylor and Lewis Marshall on the bench should they wish to use them. Indirect free kick taken by Josh Slack, blocked by Lucas Christa. Heavy contact. The ball was trapped between the chairs of Christa and Slack. Just gets both players in, just to tell them to calm down slightly, I think. Very much a 50-50. I don't think any one of the two players can complain about this officiating. Set ball will probably resume play, which it absolutely will. Josh Slack and Christa. Christa, such a strong player. Looking to assert that physicality early on here. 2.5 or so minutes played. Throstles nil, Manchester United nil. Amy Wharton trying to turn the tide up the court. Certainly with regards to the significance of the stand-ins, this game, this potential performance, this result would favour Manchester United far more than it would Throstles. I think Throstles, with a healthy buffer above any positions towards the bottom of the table, can't really challenge the teams at the top, but Manchester United still very much fighting for survival. As Liam Fitzpatrick tries to find the gap between Christa and Barris Inall. Well left by Lucas Christa. Inall to Jonathan Davis. Fitzpatrick now attempts an effort at goal. Barris Inall has to be alert. Just collides with the back of his chair. Contact there as Josh Slack just swiped into the ball. Advantage played. Already been warned. Should that continue, we will surely see the yellow card leave Jeff Lewis's pocket. Jeff Lewis, as our central referee, is complemented by Carolyn Bean and Paul Yates. He'd struggled to find a stronger officiating lineup. Josh Slack down the line. Christa now into Jonathan Davis, cleared by Fitzpatrick. Both Kieran Burns and Josh Slack not wanting to engage, and that moment's hesitation allowed Christa to come across and limit the Manchester United chance. Down the line, blocked by Barris Inall. As you can see from that graphic there, Aspire on Court B have already scored against Hull and East Yorkshire. They haven't faltered in game week 4 in pursuit of a second successive Premiership title. Josh Slack, Kieran Burns in the bottom left-hand corner, Liam Fitzpatrick in space on the right-hand side of the box. Neither player wants to yield in their pursuit of possession. To bring up Manchester United's top goal scorers across the 23-24 campaign, you can see that they have really struggled. Just 3 goals attributed to their name, certainly in way of goals scored by their players. This doesn't take into consideration own goals. Liam Fitzpatrick, who just miscalculates that contact, with 2 across the season. Josh Slack with a single goal. Barrisinal into the centre, down to Lucas Christa. Contact from Liam Fitzpatrick, allowed to continue. Now Amy Wharton with an opportunity to break. Just can't quite get the timing. Still locked up on that right-hand post of Manchester United. Jake Hudson yet to be tested in this game. I think that's credit to his outfield supporting players. Very even in the opening 8 minutes. Slack down to Fitzpatrick, swept up by Amy Wharton. I'm almost certain that if this game continues in the current manner, we will see yellow cards. A lot of contact, a lot of nicks, a lot of metal on metal. Not to mention just how strong and physical these two teams are. Off of Amy Wharton's chair, Manchester United edging their way up the court. Jonathan Davis been isolated for 95% of this first half, has possession now. Josh Slack so strong to dispossess. Davis to Christa, now with an attempt. Jake Hudson alert to that opportunity. And now a potential break, spearheaded by Josh Slack, all the way down the court, out for a Throstles ball. Christa down to Jonathan Davis. Christa fires it goal bound. Josh Slack alert to both opportunities. Unfortunately for Kieran Burns, he can't quite get the timing. Had he done so, no doubt Liam Fitzpatrick was the intended recipient of that pass, who was positioned in space on the right-hand wing. Could have very easily been a 2-on-1 there, as Christa and Barrisinal both approaching that ball, and would have really liked to have seen Liam Fitzpatrick just take that in his stride. Rushed the decision slightly as Lucas Christa drives into the side of Liam Fitzpatrick, and Jeff Lewis deems that to be Liam Fitzpatrick as the aggressor, so direct free kick will be awarded to Throstles. Could have gone either way, I think, but I will certainly not question the judgment of Jeff Lewis. Such a fantastic match official, and that's something that's helped our game evolve so much over the last few years, is the level of officiating. I can honestly say there's no underqualified officials within our National League. Barrett-Innell to take the resulting goal kick. Just want to see Throstles try and distribute the ball to their wingers. I think credit where credit's due to Manchester United, trying to just limit the spaces of Throstles. United condense the court, make it as small as possible. That passing game, which would favour Throstles far more than it would Manchester United. We would see Throstles probably assert their dominance, but Manchester United in the opening 12 minutes doing brilliantly to limit the opportunities of their opposition, if anything being the more attacking of the two teams. Another set piece here as Kieran Burns just tries to squeeze his way into the box. I think he's a shield for the potential of Liam Fitzpatrick at this back post. He'll probably look to vacate the space straight away. Fortunately, the accuracy on the initial pass from Josh Slack ricochets off the Scotsman's chair. Thank you to all that are tuning in. Numbers have been really strong in game week 4 so far. I would have really liked to seen Fitzpatrick just use the front of his bumper there to pick it off over to Kieran Burns. All about that decision making as we get our first substitute of the game. Amy Wharton, the player, leaving the court. Ollie Rock, the player, entering. Be interesting to see if Ollie Rock can be unlocked more so than his teammate Amy Wharton. Just struggle to find the distribution to the wingers. Curse of the commentator as Lucas Christoph threads a ball through the Manchester United defence. Not once but twice, finding Jonathan Davis now, who just got caught in two minds as to how to best engage that ball. But that's better from Throstles. Slack down to Fitzpatrick, lets it roll all the way into Christa. Let's have a look at what the score is currently on court B. Just a single goal separating the two. At the half-time break, I'll bring up the updated league table so you can see how both results alter the standings. Once again, metal on metal collision between Lucas Christa and Fitzpatrick. Christa just readjusts, turns the other way. Fitzpatrick drops off and gives defensive responsibilities to Jake Hudson, who, similar to Barrett-Innell, has had a fairly quiet game. Josh Slack and Lucas Christa as the central players of West Bromwich Albion Throstles and Manchester United respectively have done a fantastic job to ensure that opportunities in front of their goal are limited. Corner kick, Oliver Rock to take. You can see from that graphic, Aspire have doubled their advantage as the ball rolls all the way to Jonathan Davis, who tries to fire it towards that left-hand post. Cleared by Josh Slack. Final 4 minutes. Throstles nil, Manchester United nil. Manchester United will be the far happier of the two teams. A point here could be really significant for their pursuit of Premiership survival. But as is the case with a number of the teams towards the bottom, Sevenoaks, Nottingham, Nomad Knights and Manchester United, they're really growing in confidence across the Premiership. And for all of them, they're starting to show a real identity, a real way of playing. I had the pleasure of commentating on Sevenoaks and Nottingham just a few moments ago, and Sevenoaks were absolutely brilliant. Free-flowing, attacking, passing play, they're playing with confidence. There's no reason why Manchester United can't establish a rhythm and some momentum and upset Thostles. As I mentioned, nothing's really troubled Jake Hudson in the goal so far. There's a potential here for Lucas Christ to force the ball over the line, but when the opposition is forced into dribbling the ball aggressively over the line, it shows that they're growing frustrated at the fact that they can't create opportunities in expansive open play. Contact once again. Liam Fitzpatrick distributes beautifully over to the left. Kieran Burns can't quite keep it in play. Half time on Court B. Approaching the half-time break here. Really enjoyed this game so far. It's like a game of chess, but it's most certainly up for grabs, as once again Krista resorts to trying to force the ball between Slack and Hudson. I think they're going to get a direct free kick here. Couldn't quite make out who committed the foul, but if it is a contact foul, it will be a direct free kick, so Lucas Christa can go for goal himself. Oliver Rock now positioned between Slack and Hudson. Jonathan Davis not quite sure where he wants to position himself to best capitalise. Christa to take through the gap. Not quite sure how Josh Slack adjusted to keep that ball from going over the line. Had it done so, I don't think it would have counted, because Jeff Lewis had blown for a 2-on-1. But good defensive work and a test for Manchester United. One of the only times that Throttles have forced an effort on target. Christa. Intercepted by Josh Slack. Kieran Burns can't quite get the angle to continue its advancement into the Throttles half, and a wayward pass from Jonathan Davis there. Fortunately for him, Liam Fitzpatrick can't quite keep up with it. Manchester United in the final 30 seconds have an opportunity via this kick-in. We've seen some brilliant set-piece goals this weekend. Can they capitalise? It rolls all the way into the back wheel of Christa, marking that right-hand post of Throttles. He weaves past Josh Slack. Jonathan Davis in space on the left. As suspected, Ollie Rock fairly isolated, continuing that trend started by Amy Wharton. But the game plan for Manchester United is working so far. 13 points separate these two in the Premiership standings. And at the half-time break, which has just been signalled by Jeff Lewis, I can bring up the live league standings so you can see the significance of this. So a point for Manchester United would see them go on to 9 across their 16 games. Still a point behind Nottingham and 2 behind Sevenoaks. West Bromwich Albion Throstles chasing down Leeds Chariots would falter slightly, and considering that Leeds Chariots do have a game in hand, they will want to turn this 0-0 scoreline into one more favourable for their season. Thank you to all that are joining me for this game. I'll be back shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to West Bromwich Albion Throstles versus Manchester United. Absolutely nothing to separate the two teams in the first half. Hoping for more entertaining action in the second. It looks like Throstles have made an adjustment. John Dixon now looking like he'll take position in the centre. Lucas Christa, who was very effective at preventing any opportunities from Manchester United in that first half, now on the left-hand wing of West Bromwich Albion Throstles. As you're viewing it, he will be on the right-hand side. On the other wing, Oliver Rock, Jake Hudson, Josh Slack, Liam Fitzpatrick and Kieran Burns comprise Manchester United's team, so they are yet to look at the bench. Next up on Court A, scheduled for a 4:30 kickoff, we have what promises to be a brilliant game. Teesside versus Newcastle United Foundation, both locked on 34 points. A win for either side would see them go joint on points with West Bromwich Albion. So both very much still in contention and contenders for the overall Premiership. And we are back underway. Josh Slack to take the kick-off. Very physical first half. Be interesting to see if that trend continues in the second. John Dixon straight into the action since his substitute during that half-time break. Let's get confirmation of that change now. Josh Slack just received some instructions from Pete Taylor on the sidelines. Just comes off the front of Barry Sinnall's chair and flicked goal bound by Lucas Christa. Can they capitalise? Well left by the Manchester United goalkeeper Jake Hudson. Goal kick. Looks like Aspire cruising their way to 3 points on Court B. And that's 5-0 now against Hull and East Yorkshire. So, a goal kick. Josh Slack to take. Fitzpatrick, the only real option, unmarked. It goes for Kieran Burns, intercepted by John Dixon. Well blocked by Kieran Burns. Down to Lucas Christa. John Dixon retakes possession, can't quite get the purchase on the ball. Indirect free kick. John Dixon to take, has to go via the chair of an opponent or teammate into Lucas Christa. Well cleared by Josh Slack. Right idea from Fitzpatrick to try and distribute it out to the space occupied by Kieran Burns on the right. Dixon, nice contact. Jake Hudson has to make a save, which presents an opportunity and possession back to Ollie Rock. Aspire now 7 goals to the good against Hull and East Yorkshire. Goal difference could play such a key factor to determining certain placements in the Premiership, if not the ultimate crown. So any goals without reply will surely not harm their pursuit of a second successive Premiership title. since our last round of fixtures here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Kieran Burns can't quite catch up to that ball, and that 180 shot just evades his bumper. But as I was saying, since our last meeting here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre for the Premiership, we have determined this year's John Good Group WFA Cup finalists, and of course Aspire take on West Bromwich Albion. That one televised live on TNT Sports as part of the FA Disability Cup weekend. Kieran Burns guides it goal bound. Never any real threat to Throstles, but all the while it resides in the Throstles half. Manchester United will be happy. Seen moments of quality from Throstles, but nothing that's troubled Jake Hudson or his team too much. Fitzpatrick has to be careful in phases of play such as that. They don't want to be gifting anything back to Throstles. Christa exchanges some passes with Dixon, guides it goal bound. Josh Slack positions himself nicely to just cut off the advancement of Lucas Christa. But me commending the actions of Josh Slack. Our referee Jeff Lewis awards a yellow card for cutting up and cutting off Lucas Christa. I told you there would be cards awarded in this game, and that is very much the case. I don't think there was too much malice in it. I thought it was more tactical than anything else. So an indirect free kick as a result of that infringement. Rushed by John Dixon. Has to be careful there. Barrisinal coming to take possession. .26 minutes played, Throstles nil, Manchester United nil. Nothing to separate these two. I don't think either could say they deserve the lead. Busy day for Throstles tomorrow. Again, they play some tough opposition, starting against Teesside before playing West Bromwich Albion. They cap their weekend off against Nottinghamshire. Arguably their most credible opportunity for registering points across Sunday's round of fixtures as John Dixon tries to carve out an opportunity. Well limited by Jake Hudson, the danger still present as the Manchester United goalkeeper positions himself really well. Kick in, taken by Dixon. Slightly forced, as Kieran Burns is going to try and guide that down the left-hand wing. Liam Fitzpatrick, having vacated the space, now on the right. Once again, Jeff Lewis not happy with the contact and excessive force from Manchester United. This time, Kieran Burns in the book. Confirmation of that on your screens now. I always suspected it would be the case. It's been a very physical game. Manchester United have to be very careful now. They do not want to have a player deficit in this final 12 or so minutes. They've been so brilliant at limiting the opportunities and the ability of this Throstles side. This is a Throstles team that could give anyone a run for their money. And as I've spoken about already, this game, a point here, or potentially more, favours Manchester United far more than it does West Bromwich Albion and Throstles. Throstles all but safe in this league. Manchester United still fighting to be one of the 12 teams comprising the 24-25 Premiership. Josh Slack down to Fitzpatrick, guided over to Kieran Burns. Slight miscommunication between Dixon and Oliver Rock. Slack down to Burns, intercepted by John Dixon. Fitzpatrick now trying to force his way over the line. Contact as Liam Fitzpatrick rotated into the back of John Dixon. Does well to escape punishment. Would be the third yellow card had he been awarded one there. Kieran Burns and Josh Slack have already seen yellow from Jeff Lewis. Jeff Lewis has given plenty of warning, so any cards awarded are probably, or most definitely, the correct decisions. Fitzpatrick guides the ball down that right-hand wing. Flicked back to Slack. Over to Kieran Burns. Couldn't quite get the angle or accuracy to pick out his Scottish teammate. And with 9 minutes to go, this game is crying out for a moment of magic. We get a substitute. Jonathan Davis readies himself to re-enter the action. Oliver Rock, the player coming off, been very isolated, as was the case with both Amy Wharton and Jonathan Davis in the first half. Dixon. Again, they're just not quite getting the purchase or angles. The positions are being upheld by Christa and Davis, and that's very strong contact from Josh Slack. He'll do extremely well to escape a red card here. Jeff Lewis just coming over to talk to him. John Dixon just gets an adjustment with his chair. Jeff Lewis and Carolyn Bean just having a discussion. I think it will just be the direct free kick to resume play. Pete Taylor just signalling to the referee that it was more of a 50-50 coming together than anything too malicious. Confirmation of the score on Court B. Spire 7, Hull and East Yorkshire 0. Dixon takes the free kick. Despite being on a yellow card, Josh Slack doesn't look like he's going to shy away from the physicality of that battle with Lucas Christa. It's been going all game. 7 minutes to be played. Throstles 0, Manchester United 0. Keep an eye on the contact between Fitzpatrick and Christa. It's happening a number of times. Jeff Lewis brings it back to talk to Lucas Christa. Any further infringements from the Throttles number 9, he will surely see a yellow card. Escapes on that occasion. Joshua Slack down the court. Dixon finds the angle this time. Would probably like to see Jonathan Davis stay in reverse there. Mark Hudson, the Manchester United coach, applauding his team on. I have to say, they have been absolutely brilliant in the 34.5 minutes we've had. They, without question, deserve a point from this game. It would probably be their most impressive point of the season. Slack down to Fitzpatrick, across the box. Barris Innell, it's one of his first touches in probably 10-15 minutes. Does well to cut out the danger. Dixon taken quickly. Davis has to be careful. Almost gifts possession back to Liam Fitzpatrick and Manchester United. United are edging their way up the court. This another really credible opportunity to get on the scoreline. Slack's going to take down to Fitzpatrick, trying to guide it over to Kieran Burns unopposed at the right hand side of the Throttles box. But committing players forward comes with vulnerabilities in defence. But Josh Slack does brilliantly just to delay the advancement of Christa. Set ball can be contested between Fitzpatrick and John Dixon. 4 minutes to be played. Good work from Fitzpatrick. Do well to wrap his chair around the ball, which he does so to keep it in play. Supported by Slack in the centre. Kieran Burns at the right hand wing. Still Aspire 7, Hull and East Yorkshire 0. That will please Manchester United. They won't want any of their teams in and around the bottom placements of the league picking up points, certainly if they're to secure a single point from this game. Manchester United come away with the indirect free kick. Now 3 minutes to go. West Bromwich Albion Throstles 0, Manchester United 0. Via this indirect free kick, can Manchester United carve out the opening? Over to Fitzpatrick, fired with venom into the side of John Dixon's chair, but that ricochet sends it kindly into the path of Lucas Christa. Jake Hudson has to be alert. And Christa almost capitalises. End-to-end stuff. We're going to get a substitute. Going to be for West Bromwich Albion Throstles. John Dixon looks like he's the player coming off. Jack Ebanks, the player replacing. So a very late chance for Throstles. Over to Christa. Couldn't quite get the angle to put it in the path of Jack Ebanks. 2-on-1 in favour of Manchester United. They won't be too happy with that because the advantage was should have been or could have been played. Kieran Burns was away on the right hand wing. Joshua Slack to take. Fitzpatrick and Burns in support. Fitzpatrick, really nice control there. Weaves around the ball. And Slack and Kieran Burns, slight miscommunication. So Jack Ebanks now trying to keep it in. Out of play for a Manchester United ball. Approaching the final minute. Kieran Burns over to Liam Fitzpatrick, and he's going to find the gap in the final minute. Manchester United have scored the goal and all but seen themselves secure 3 points. Can they see out this final minute? Absolutely brilliant from Manchester United. I said they were good value for a point. If they were to go and secure 3 here, not only would that be the best result of the season, it would see them leapfrog Nottinghamshire in the standings, and I think go joint on points with Sevenoaks. We'll get confirmation of that at the conclusion. 20 or so seconds plus any additional time left to be played. What a game this has been. They haven't been overawed by Throttles at all. It's been 50-50 from the start of the game all the way to the finish. And this a very late opportunity for West Bromwich Albion Throstles. Taken quickly by Krista, over to Jack Ebanks, reversed out of play by Joshua Slack. Now into additional time. It could be a fair amount. There's been a number of yellow cards, a number of stoppages. Be interesting to see the total from Jeff Lewis, Jonathan Davis and Lucas Krista just having a conversation. Surely the last real opportunity for Throttles to find an equaliser. One thing is for certain, Manchester United will take points from this game. Joshua Slack dribbles it out of danger once again. Jonathan Davis, keep an eye on that battle between Fitzpatrick and Krista once again on the edge of the box. Into the path of Lucas Krista for a third successive time. Joshua Slack guides it wide of that left-hand post. Krista trying to find the gap. Not before 2-on-1 awarded in the favour of Manchester United. Jack Ebanks just drawn into the action, and that will delight Manchester United and their coaches. We're now a minute and a half over the regulation 40. Manchester United surely are going to secure the 3 points as Ian Fitzpatrick feints to guide that down the line. Out of play for a Throttles kick-in. Krista off the front of Jonathan Davis, edging their way down the court. Jonathan Davis into the box. Jack Ebanks fires it into the side of Joshua Slack. And that will be the final action of the half. A fantastic game, probably the best I've watched all weekend. Manchester United come away with a 3 point, and that could be so significant at the conclusion of game week 5. Let's get up the league table just so you can see how that impacts the standings. And as mentioned, Manchester United now leapfrog Nottinghamshire in the standings and go joint point with Sevenoaks. Just that inferior goal difference, the reason why they remain in 9th. But a huge congratulations to Manchester United. They were superb, and if they play like that in their remaining fixtures of game week 4 against Newcastle and Nottingham, there is absolutely no reason why they can't put a buffer between themselves and the relegation zone, and why they can't go on in game week 5 to secure Premiership status. But thank you to all that have tuned in. Next up on Court A, we have one of the games of the weekend between Teesside and Newcastle.